Now, how comfortable are you guys? You want a hint or where are you at? Doing good? All right. Okay, so here's the double declining rate. It's 25%, so it loses a quarter of its book value every year. All right, you guys ready? So here's year one. That sound about right? So it's the book value at the beginning of the year, which is first for year one, that'll be what you pay for it, times 25%. Then you subtract this from the 930,000, that'll give you the book value at the beginning of year two, times 25%. Then you subtract this, and that will give you the book value at the end of year three. Okay. And the total accumulated depreciation, and it doesn't exceed the depreciable cost. Okay? Does that make sense? And all that last sentence says is you got to stop short of depreciable cost. You can't go below the estimated salvage value. It's another way of saying the same thing. All right? right, you guys ready? So if we compare the methods, it looks like this. So we did straight line, units of production, double declining. So here's 2011, 12, and so on. The straight line was the same amount every year, and the total depreciation was 9,000. That's the depreciable cost. Units of production, of course, varied by production, but it ended at the total depreciable cost. And the double declining had the most the first year, less the second year, less the third, and then the last year was an amount that brought it to the depreciable cost. In other words, you had to stop at whatever the salvage value was. Is another way of saying the same thing. Okay? Graphically, now the orange is the straight line, so same depreciation expense every year. The blue is the units of production. It varied by the units produced. And the red is the double declining, largest the first year by far, much less the second year, and it keeps depreciating and then stops at the salvage value, which was 1,000, well, whatever the salvage value was. Oh no, this, whatever brings up the total depreciation to the depreciable cost, that was what the last one was. Okay. You guys doing good? All right. So, let's have, so since this is fresh in our mind, why don't we have a quick review? Does that sound like a plan? Move it into long-term memory? All right, sounds good. We can but try, I suppose. All right, so depreciation. What are we talking about with depreciation? We're talking about allocating the cost of the asset over its useful life. We're talking about converting an asset into an expense, right? Our main concern is the matching principle, and we want the expense to match the revenue. Units of production is easiest to see. Whatever that machine, when that machine wore out, it produced something as it wore out. Okay, does that make sense? But it's the matching principle, it's the cost allocation, right? It's not that something actually wears out. Now, depreciation can be wear and tear, can be exposure to the elements, it can be obsolescence, right? It makes it somehow useless. Computers, of course, are mostly obsolescence. The last 3 or 4 computers I used up are sitting in the garage. Barbara periodically mentions this. They were perfectly good machines, right? They just no longer were functional. And I just can't bring myself to throw away a perfectly good machine. So at some point I may have to. Okay? All right. What's the cost? How much you paid for it? Yes, yes, yes. All right. The cost is what you pay for it. What's the salvage value?
Estimated value at the end of the year.
How much you hope to get for it later. It's an estimation of what you'll get when you scrap it. All right. What's its useful life? How long you plan to use it for? Like with Avis Rent-A-Car, 2 years is its useful life. Now, at the end of 2 years, they're perfectly good cars. But, okay. What's depreciable cost?
How much depreciation is expected?
How much depreciation you expect? All right.
Minus salvage value?
Or cost minus salvage value, exactly. You're exactly. All right. The straight line method is based on time. Units of production is based on usage. Double declining is a form of accelerated. And often it's based on obsolescence, like a computer, right? Okay? So, all right. Okay, now, straight line and units of production are different from double declining. In what way? So straight line and units of production, first of all, calculates depreciable costs and then allocates it either by the passage of time or units produced, right?
Constant.
What's that?
And it's constant.
And so your straight line is constant. And of course, units of production varies by usage. You're absolutely right. Nice job. Okay? All right. Double declining balance is different. It's based on book value. So it takes twice the straight line rate and multiplies that into the book value. So it's different because it's based in book value. The double declining balance stops at where?
Salvage value.
Salvage value, or the total depreciable cost. Both are the same thing. Okay? Now,
I have a question.
okay, yes.
On the double declining, is that normally used for taxes?
And now, this is financial accounting, and financial accounting and tax accounting are totally different things. You can actually, and you gotta keep two sets of books, and it's not that you're doing anything under the table. It's just that financial accounting, which is the one we're studying here, you wanna report to the owners and the creditors how the business is doing, and you try and do it as accurately as possible. Tax accounting, you try not to pay any taxes. And they're very different. I hate to be that succinct about it. You know, tax avoidance is what you try to do. Tax avoidance, tax postponement are the goals. And the accuracy is not relevant. You know, I don't mean, you know, I mean, it's just true. Okay, so this is financial accounting, and you just, whatever seems to, however it works. And you guys, look, if you don't do things the way people can hear me better, and I won't keep you over, all right? I suppose the other thing is, don't forget, when you go to your four-year school, chances are you'll be pretty happy with what you learned. Be prepared for an adjustment. And again, quarter of the semester can be a problem, because it is a different pace. Be prepared for a greater workload. There'll be less outside help, so be sure to form study groups. There's fewer test points, and be sure to show up prepared, because often they're taking the next step. Tests are more difficult. Often they synthesize, and often, like multiple choice, there'll be 4 right answers. Be prepared for more writing. Try not to be overcommitted. And then, I guess what's a real killer is don't take a Clark summer school if you're going to start in the fall, because they overlap and it's really rough. So don't do that. Yeah.
May I add that also you won't get financial aid if you do that?
Oh.
You won't get financial aid for instance, at WSU, you can't get financial aid if you took the summer.
Probably true, because you'd be double dipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably true. It's also more expensive. Okay. Quite a bit more expensive, actually. All right, you guys doing good?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Wednesday, are we going to chapter 11?
We'll finish up chapter 12, or
Just
chapter 10.
continue the,
Yeah, and will disposed of assets comes up, and the acquiring an asset, how you determine the cost. All right. By the way, guys, don't forget, until I shut this thing off, your conversations will be broadcast.